Have you noticed how much our personal and professional lives crossed over in 2020? Leaders used to spend about 90% of their time checking in on their team's careers and only 10% of their personal lives. Now that's shifted to over 50-50 career, personal. Empathy is the new leadership requirement. Now I'm a huge believer in metrics, so I wanted to build in the right instrumentation that could keep a pulse on how our teams were feeling, which would allow our e-staff to then set key benchmarks to help improve our employees' lives at work. As a CEO, I'm also a fan of creating surprise moments. Calling an employee to thank them when they're not expecting your call, telling your team to take the day off to recharge, sending an unexpected care package to show your appreciation. These little things go a long way. The last year brought about tremendous challenges that brought empathy to the forefront, and I think it's one of the most positive changes from this past year. As leaders, we can no longer think about bias to action as our most important trait. We have to listen to our teams and to our customers. And no one did that more elegantly than Eric Yuan at Zoom, who essentially pivoted overnight and worked tirelessly to accommodate countless new users. You don't just make a change like that without having a culture of empathy. And we're honored to welcome Eric to Generation Revenue. Eric, it's so great to see you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Eric, as you think about the leaders that you're looking to hire today, as you're scaling on such an incredible curve, what characteristics do you look for that you may not have looked for before COVID?
I think, it boils down to Zoom's value. The core value is care. I care about the community, customer, company, teammates, as well as ourselves. I think to be very empathetic is extremely important, especially for the senior executive, because you lead a team, lead a business, you got to look at everything from others' perspective, from a customer perspective, from employee perspective. Like at Zoom, when whenever we are going to make a decision, we always want to make sure every decision you look at, will this decision benefit the customer or not? Will this decision benefit our employee or not? Will this decision be sustainable or not? But always look at it from others' perspective, care about others. That's really, really important for any managers, leaders, we're trying to hire.
Hiring for empathy is an exceptional investment. How do you operationalize that kind of leadership at scale, Eric?
And then first of all, you got to write it down. What's your leadership philosophy? And make sure they all understand that. You cannot only talk about that. Write down your business principle. That's what I learned from the Ray Dalio, right? But anything important, write down this business principle. The second thing is you got to lead by example. Right? It's very important. You can not only talk about that, write down the business principle, and then you behave totally differently, right? That's the second thing. Third thing, always give the open, transparent, very honest feedback to others, right? If they did not do well, just tell them, this decision is not right. You did not think about it from employee perspective. You only think about from your business perspective, or you think about from your, you try to monetize this use case, but you did not think about it from end user perspective, right? Always give the feedback in a timely manner. I think more like let the team realize, we do have a great intention together. We got to improve. We got to become better.
This is true for everyone, but especially true when it comes to those taking their companies public. There are incredible learning curves that come with IPO readiness, certainly as it pertains to generating predictable results. How did you think about your leadership arc as you prepared for the public market?
Yeah, I can share with you our journey. I remember that before I even talk about being a public company, our board, they asked the first question, make sure at least you have a 3 years, very accurate, predictable sales results. Otherwise, even don't think about it going public, right? You will get punished if you cannot have a very accurate forecast, right? That's the number one thing. That's the most important thing. But however, for a small startup company, it's not very hard, right? You won't have 1 million or 5 million MRR, it's easy. But when you further grow your business, you need to make sure have a system of very, very good tools to help you. You cannot do that manually anymore. That's why number one thing is how to leverage a system like a Clari, right? Make sure you have very, very accurate predictive forecast. That's number one. Number two, make sure your company ready in terms of culture and team, and also the product, everything else also needed to be ready as well. I think those two things are most critical if you think about it going to become a public company.
I'd like to talk a little bit, Eric, about the relationship between the CRO and revenue teams and the CEO. How can CROs serve CEOs and boards better?
It's a really good question. So Andy, remember several years ago when you and we had a lunch together, I showed you my mobile, the Clari app, installed on my iPhone, right? Yeah. So number matters, right? I use the same app as our sales leader and the sales managers. We look at the same number, right? Every day I look at it several times, right? If a number is good, I know actually, as coaches, it should be okay. If a number not good, I need to look at what happened. I need a system to help me understand either net retention rate is not good, or maybe actually, the global expansion not right. I need to have a system. And because of that, every day I understand what's going on, and then I can talk with our team. So that's why you got to focus on numbers every day. You cannot say, hey, forget about that. In 2 weeks, in 1 month, look at a number or something already, went wrong. You say, oh, it's too late. You got to have a real-time system at any given moment. You really understand your business. So that's what we did here at Zoom. Again, I'm an early adopter of your mobile app. I use that many, many times a day.
Let's break down that predictability. How do you think about bringing the brand of predictability to every single one of your team members and driving the same behavior from the boardroom all the way down to that individual rep?
I think, first of all, from a culture perspective, there should have a trust. That's number one important thing, right? Board trust you and CEO, trust the CIO, and we trust each other, right? That's extremely important, right? Otherwise, sometimes, every day is different, a number is different. Without a trust, it's really hard, to have open, dialogue. That's the number one thing. Number two thing is, I think, CRO not only, think about everything from a sales perspective, always need to think about it from entire business perspective, and vice versa, right? And the CEO also, ideally, sometimes CEO got to be the superstar of sales as well, right? Meaning you also can sell. Let the sales team realize, you are working on that too. You are also the sales rep. You are also a BDR. You are going to have everything, right? It lead by example, right? I think this is understand each other extremely well. Last but not least is always, know the number in real time. That's very important. Otherwise, sometimes, something already goes wrong. CRO or CEO or board, they do not know it. It's too late. That's why the third thing is also very important.
And Eric, we're super excited that you're such a happy user of Clari. Eric, I just want to say in closing, thank you so much. It is an absolute privilege to be part of your journey. We're so grateful for the partnership and all the greatest success for you and the team to come.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everyone at Clari. Your system really helped us a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you.